Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Jianu, Pakhair Ragale, Ni hao, Chunishume, Washmale, or Hi Gonzaimus, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Haleshumachatori, Al Masalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabi and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that everybody out there is doing great. You are superb, you feel great as well, and you're dedicated towards whatever you want to achieve in life. Because if you are not dedicated, who else will? Ladies and gentlemen, dreams do not come true just like that. You do that and dreams come true. It's not going to happen like that. In life, I think everybody needs to break down their goals into smaller goals so that they can achieve smaller goals in terms to probably track their progress as well. But then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, the inner motivation definitely comes from your inner self as well. So please make sure that you're always on the right track. Avoid negative company. These days, there are a lot of people who talk about vibes and energy as well. I think that the type of vibe I want to give to all my viewers in 46 different countries is positive. And I just want you guys to believe in Allah Almighty or whatever faith or religion you belong from. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in yourself, I think you can do anything. But other than that, before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, today it's 9th of July and it's a very important day since it's the death anniversary of Madre Millat Fatima Jinnah Sahiba as well. And a lot of people actually kind of talk about it as well. I've seen a lot of women taking inspiration from Madre Millat as well. And ladies and gentlemen, whenever it was about Muslims, whenever it was about the creation of Pakistan, I think Fatima Jinnah always stood by his brother too as well, Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And there's one more thing, and that is not many people know about Fatima Jinnah Sahiba, that she was actually a dentist. And I think that this is a great thing to learn from. For all of those people, for all of those women who in these times even think that what should we do with our lives, imagine that people were actually progressing back in those days as well. And I think that it's about time for people to take inspiration from her. And it is very essential. I think that, whenever we talk about women empowerment for people within Pakistan, they really need to look up to Fatima Jinnah Sahiba because she's done a great deal. She's done a great deal of work for all of those people. She was a humanitarian herself. And she always talked about women's rights as well. And ladies and gentlemen, talking about women's rights, I think Islam gives us a proper teaching about women's rights and how they need to be treated as well. So please make sure that people who are out there, if you have daughters, if you have wife, and if you have sisters, please make sure that you support them, give them that support, which is actually due onto the family to be delivered, and then let them do wonders. Please make sure to make space for women. And on today, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a lot of conferences by women wings as well from different political parties. If you're a member of them, if you're invited, please go and learn something new every day as well. So, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, there's one more thing which we wanted to talk about today. And since it's the month of July, so this entire month is actually dedicated to a very lethal and a very fatal disease. And me, myself, happen to be a survivor of cancer, which is why I would always like to talk about this particular disease. But the disease we're talking about is a different type of cancer, and the one I suffered was a different one. And so talking about July, ladies and gentlemen, the entire month is actually dedicated to the awareness of sarcoma, and it came into being back in 2007, where there were a group of doctors who actually made sure that, we do not really want sarcoma to actually exist on the face of the planet. But every year, unfortunately, there's increase of 15,000 different cases. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a disease. I mean, talking about any type of cancer, ladies and gentlemen, the treatments are so expensive, and over here in Pakistan, people are not very aware of the problems as well. I mean, for example, people, because they say that prevention is better than cure, but over here, people are not even aware of how to actually prevent these diseases as well. So we thought that we were going to take up the challenge and we are going to talk about it. We are going to spread awareness. And for that, we've actually invited somebody who happens to be one of the best oncologist on the face of this planet, and he's a great guy. He's got good energy, and whenever my doctor's on leave, I actually have to go see him too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, on my right hand side, we've been joined by medical oncologist from Shifa International Hospital. He's none other than Dr. Kamran Rashid. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So I've always seen you within the hospital premises, but it's great to have you in the studios too as well. So let's talk about sarcoma, because they say that it is very rare in adults. It's only 1% of population of adults go through it or suffer from it, but it's more common in kids. So first of all, let's talk about the disease itself, and then we'll see what to do about it.
As you have said rightly, that it's a rare disease. It's not very common. We see sarcomas. My practice is basically adults, so a lot of adults. My pediatric colleagues, they do see a lot of these sarcomas.
Yeah.
Actually, I just want to give you an overhead of what sarcomas are.
Sure.
We have, human body is made up of a lot of tissues, which includes your blood vessels, your bones, your muscles, right? Sarcomas are actually the cancers of these soft tissues. So you have fat in your body. The sarcoma of adipocytes or fat cells is known as liposarcoma.
Okay.
Similarly, you have blood vessels. Cancer of these blood vessels is known as angiosarcomas. Similarly, soft tissue, skeletal muscle or soft, smooth muscles of the body, the cancer of those areas is known as leiomyosarcomas.
All right.
So whichever structure or sarcomas of the bone, like osteosarcoma, so a lot of chondrosarcoma, so whichever structure is develops a abnormal growth or cancerous growth. See, I just want to make another thing very clear, that cancer is just an abnormal growth of a normal growing cell. Say like in our muscles, in our bones, these cells are rapidly dividing, right? They cells are being made and they are destroyed, right? So there's a very
and the cells are immature, or they grow too much?
They grow too much. Actually, there's a very tight control on whatever is made and whatever is destroyed. So there are systems in the body controlled by our genes, which is under a very, very delicate balance. Whenever that balance is disturbed, these cells, their growth goes out of control. In medical lingo, we call it, these cells become immortal. They don't die. And once they start growing, what happens is the normal cells, which are the normal, which are needed for the body, they start encroaching on them. So the blood supply, the nutrition, and then these cells, because they are malignant, they have a potential to spread in your body. So they leak out in the blood, and from blood they can go into your brain, they can go into your lungs, they can go into your liver. So starting anywhere from a small piece in the bone, they have a propensity to spread throughout your body and ultimately kill you.
And it is very lethal, ladies and gentlemen, but I might have to divert a little from the subject right now, and there's a reason why I'm going to do that. Because I've always had this in my head, and I always wanted to ask a competent authority. You might not be the authority, because you're the one who's actually a knowledge over here, you give us treatment. And to talking about that, so, medicine has progressed quite a lot. There are quite a lot of diseases which we have found cure to. Why do you think that we have not been able to find a cure for cancers?
So the reason is the cancer is...
I do not want to make it controversial. I mean, for example, there's vitamin B12, which is actually quite beneficial for different types of cancers, but is not approved by the FDA too. So, these kind of things, do you think that, there's some other issues to it as well?
No, I don't think so. There's actually, it's too much, there's a lot of hype created by, I don't know, the media or the internet or a lot of people, See, it's not that simple. I'm just being a average student of this specialty, but we go to these top guys, listening to them. See, these cancer cells are extremely, extremely smart. Their circuitry is extremely complicated, and it's very, very difficult to control. See, once the cancer cells start growing abnormally, in trying to control it, it's a very, very challenging. These drugs, there are certain pathways through which they grow. What happens is these cancer cells over time acquire certain changes in them, which makes them resistant to all kinds of, even there are newer drugs which are coming out known as immunotherapy. See, what happens is these cancer cells, when they grow in the body, we have a check systems in our body. That is our immune system, or T cells or B cells. They recognize these foreign cells and they attack them. These cancer cells are so smart that they can deceive this immune system. And based on this, actually, the Nobel Prize of Medicine was recently given to two people who discovered this pathway and made medicines known as immunotherapy to unmask the cancer cells to the immune system, so the immune system can attack these cancer cells and kill them. So I'm just telling you, there are so many pathways which these cancer cells use. You block one pathway, they develop 10 other pathways to bypass that system. So that is why this war is going on. This moonshot, you must have heard, one of the top guys in US, his son died of a brain tumor. So there was a lot of work done by him because he got so moved by his death that there's a moonshot initiative was taken by all the top centers in US, MD Anderson, Memorial. He was being treated in Memorial Sloan Kettering. So just telling you the complexity of the situation. It's not that simple that you give this cancer cell vitamin B17 or B7 and the cancer will die or go away. So it's not that simple. It's very, very complicated.
Thank you very much for making us clear on that too as well, ladies and gentlemen, where we were talking about cancer cells and how they can actually trick the immune system as well. I think it's about time for humans to trick the plastic too as well. We really need to get rid of plastic. And there's this new form of recycling where plastic is actually recycled into energy. And we've got a video to share with you guys, which we'll definitely share in a few moments too as well. But other than that, related to this, there's this one post which I've witnessed on social media as well. And that was a whale which actually died because of the plastic ingestion too as well. So please go ahead, take a look at the video. And when you guys will come back, we're actually going to talk how to avoid cancers in life, because we really need to focus on our lifestyle, and I think that it has to do a lot with us getting ill. Let's take a look. Good morning.
Singapore is ashes underwater. It makes this trash bag disappear in 1 day instead of 500 years.
Way to go, Singapore. I think we definitely need a plant of this sort in Karachi at least, because the air over there is not clean at all. But other than that, sir, coming down to the point where we actually wanted to talk about how can we prevent these cancers.
See, I believe...
Can we do that?
Yes, we can do that. And talking about a very, very complicated process, how cancer grows, prevention is very simple.
Okay, go ahead.
It's very simple. So when I treat my patients, at the end of the treatment, I always tell my patients, no, till now, I did everything for you. Now, treatment is completed. Now I'm going to tell you things which you can do for yourself.
Go ahead.
And they're very receptive at that time. So there are 3-4 things which are proven for a very, there's no doubt about it. Studies after studies have shown that if you adhere to these things, the incidence of cancer goes down. And one of the things which is really coming up in our current data, on current literature, is regular exercising. So what a lot of big authorities say that at least half an hour every other day. Ideal is 1 hour every day, 7 days a week. So I always tell my patients, you can do jogging, biking, swimming, walking. There are a lot of parks in Islamabad. Or go to a gym. Exactly, go to a gym, do cardio, weight training, whatever you want to do. Just you need to start with 10, 15, 20 minutes and go up to a max of 1 hour every day. So exercise has been proven. There are many studies from Harvard, big centers, Dana-Farber in the US, in patients who have gotten cancer, and they did a study recently published a few years ago in which a group did regular exercise versus a group which did not. And these cancer survivors, the group which did regular exercises, there are lesser chances of relapse, and their survival was longer than the patients who did not. So I believe this strategy is very difficult. A lot of people can do it, but the thing is, it's very, very simple. It's very cheap, and it's very, very effective. Another thing related to your training is eating, the way you eat. Obviously, these two things go hand in hand. A person who trains regularly, works out regularly, I've seen, they're very careful about what they eat. So eating greens, vegetables, fruits, staying away from greasy food, junk food. See, our dietary habits are changing. Even my own kids, every weekend they want to eat a pizza, they want to eat a burger.
Pizza's fine.
It's okay. Once in a while, it's okay. But if it becomes a norm, French fries, the greasy, oily foods, a lot of sugary foods, these sugary foods have a lot of calories in it,
So do you have difficulty convincing your kids not to eat junk food?
It is. In fact, sometimes I sit with them and eat with them also, But, I always tell my patients that, try to eat a healthy lifestyle, greens, vegetables, simple food, simple, wholesome food. And And it's a lifestyle, you know.
Exactly.
And the third thing I tell my patients is to try to lower your stress level. You know, as the lives are getting more complicated, the stressors are going way up, you know.
Exactly.
For whatever the reason. So try to calm down, you know. There are a lot of things which you can do. And there are a lot of things which are beyond your control. You just cannot change them. It's, you know, that's the way it is. So
Thank
you got
you
to
very much
accept
for
it.
saying it, yeah.
You got to accept it the way things are, you know.
Exactly, and that's the best part, and this is how you can actually feel relaxed, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is one of my very amazing thumb rule, and that is that if there's something which I cannot do anything about, just let it be. Stop worrying about it. What's the point in worrying about something where you cannot actually bring about a change? If you can bring about a change, that's fine, go ahead. But if you cannot, don't worry about it.
But there are certain personalities who just cannot help themselves.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they need to be constantly reminded. You know, a reminder helps. So
Exactly.
you constantly remind them, and especially in a state when people are very, very receptive to whatever you are telling them, you know, because each and every sentence coming out of any oncologist's mouth, it has a huge meaning for a cancer survivor or anybody who's going under treatment. You know, he takes our words very, very seriously.
Yeah.
So thing is, it's just very simple. If people over here, you know, I was in US also for a long time, and then I came back here. You know, I used to go to work in the morning. My hospital was pretty far away from where I was living, and there were a lot of gyms on the way when I was going to my work. I used to go at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and those gyms were full of people. A lot of men and women
At
on the
6 in the
treadmill.
morning.
And it used to snow over there. Sometimes it was all snow, and all the people are in the gym and they're working out. So, you know, I go to gym sometimes in the morning at 6, 7 o'clock, and nobody's here on the road. So I believe it's a total different lifestyle our people have. I believe, wake up late, we end our days late. So, you know, going to bed early, waking up early, working out, you know, walking, jogging in the morning. I believe these are all healthy things which we've been hearing from since we've been young. And I believe they really hold true with time, you know.
Well, but that's great too as well. But coming down to the kind of treatments which are available over here in Pakistan, and for example, people, unfortunately, if they have been diagnosed with sarcoma, how do you think that they need, what kind of lifestyle do you think they need to adopt? Do you think that they can go work out with having problems with their tissues?
Well, obviously, while they're getting, it depends, you know, if their bones are very weak, a bone is cut, a muscle is cut, obviously then you have to tailor your activities according to your, but a cancer survivor, you know, who has survived, in sarcomas, if they have extensive surgeries, there are a lot of prostheses and a lot of things which can be done with these. And I'm sure on YouTube you have seen people without thighs, working out, running. And, so if mind believes, body achieves, you know, this is what I've seen. If once they are convinced that they have to do this, you know, they will do this. So there will be some limitations, I agree. Obviously, you know, they cannot lift heavy or they cannot run for hours and hours because of their underlying disease. But, you know, they can start with something and you'll be amazed how body quickly adjusts to the new kind of stresses and new kind of things you want to do with it. We are just always, I believe, as humans, we are all underestimating or overestimating ourselves. There are very few humans who will stay in the middle ground, that, you know, that's where they are and that's what they deserve.
Exactly.
You know?
Thank you very much for saying that, and I'm going to ask you about the early symptoms as well. But since you've mentioned about exercise and whatnot, and you know, if mind believes, body believes as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that all of you really need to watch this film. The title of the film is The Program, and it's about Lance Armstrong, 7-time Tour de France champion, and then he actually survived cancer in between as well. And after that, he was 7 times champion for the Tour de France as well. If we can look for the trailer, it's on Netflix. My producer, it's a humble request where, you know, it'll be great to share that because it gave me a lot of energy and what people can actually do. So let's come down to the early symptoms. Because what I've seen in my life is that over here in Pakistan, we do not have a tradition of going to the doctor every 6 months, getting ourselves checked up. So once, you know, it's just like the same with our cars. You know, once the tires actually going to burst, that's the time when we're going to change it, right? But this is not how we can protect people from not getting this disease. What are the early symptoms? And do you think that if we get caught of it early as possible, it's better or it's not?
Yes. Picking it up early is extremely, extremely important in any cancer, and especially in sarcoma. See, cancers have tendency to spread throughout your body. So, you know, you must have heard about stage. This is a very common question. Patients come and ask me, Dr. Saab, what is the stage of this disease? So, obviously, as the time goes on, because the blood is circulating through that cancer, and these cancer cells can leak out into the blood, and wherever the blood go, they can go anywhere and seed the body. So obviously from early stage, if there is a delay in picking it up or responding to it, the stage can increase from stage 1 to stage 4, and usually stage 4s are incurable. So usually the signs, common signs in sarcomas can be a lump or a bump, which was not there before, and it's showing up and it's increasing in size, like in a thigh, or or some abnormal feeling like pain in, like if sarcomas is deep inside your belly, you may have some pain, or if it's compressing on certain your nerves, you may have some pain going into your thigh, or back pain, or things like that. Initial symptoms can be very, very misleading, and can be, so if you go to a regular doctor, he'll give you some pain medicine and he'll say go home.
Pain going down to the...
And usually sarcomas are seen in young, even in adults, they're all young people, in their 30s, in their 20s. In that age group, you don't think about...
Feeling a little scared today. It's all right.
Everybody should be. Anytime I have this pain here, the first thing which comes to my head is cancer.
Yesterday I was just reading about the disease itself, and I was like, okay, Allah miya maaf karna, please. So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we talk about these issues. But then at the same time, talking about these problems, for me, since I have to ask questions, I'm always worried about, yaar, mujhe to nahi ho gaya kahin, khuda na khasta. So it's always there.
The thing I tell my patients is that if you have these abnormal, like I tell people when groups ask me that what to do, I always tell them that, and if the symptoms are not related to a serious cause, they usually go away. If you have back pain, it will get better with time. But if there's a sarcoma or a cancer sitting there, this pain will not get better. And this will just keep on getting worse and worse. So it will tell you that something is not right. I need to, and doctor will also, see, if you go to a doctor once, he writes a pain medicine, and you never go back to him again, he will never know that what. But if you keep on bugging the doctor again, it's not getting better, I'm not feeling better, then obviously the doctor will also take it seriously that there's something wrong, things are not right. Because usually back pain or, pain here, you write a pain medicine, it goes away with time,
But Doctor Sahab, this is the problem, the right diagnosis is a problem over here in this country as well. And since I've suffered myself, so let me tell you that, I was dropping weight. I used to be 96 kgs then. I went down to 72 kgs. The first doctor I went to, he told me to get my vitamin B12 tested, and the results were very odd, and the doctor couldn't understand why they were odd, and he never referred to me any other doctor, and he said that we do not know what's happening to you. So how do you think that getting the correct diagnosis, that's very important?
Well, the thing is, see, obviously a patient will not go straight to a cancer doctor. He will go to a regular doctor. So the first line of defense against this cancer is our regular doctors, a general practitioner, and they have to be also very, very trained, and they should also, I see a lot of cancers.
But they're not, unfortunately.
Exactly. You see, they have lymph nodes, our patients have lymph nodes, they always think about TB, tuberculosis, which is very common, I agree. But I see patients who've been getting this treatment for tuberculosis for months and months and not getting better. And ultimately they get a lymph node biopsy and they have a cancer known as lymphoma. Why? Because nobody thought about it, that that there's another possibility. So when patients, sometimes I see patients who have no history and they say they have some weird feeling and they think they have cancer. So in my specialty, the first thing which comes to my mind is cancer. So in that case, I have to think, no, this is not cancer, this is something else. And he's just overreading it. The thing is, in case of general practitioners, they should always think about these serious causes that, because if they don't pick it, we will pick them, but it'll be too late. Once it's picked up, and then it'll become obvious. See, the thing in cancer is that you need to pick it up very earlier on. Once it becomes late, then anybody can pick it up. Then there's no smartness in that. So I believe that's another flaw in the system, is that our general practitioners need to be trained more. They need to be educated more that this is something which is very prevalent. See, 2030, the leading cause of death worldwide will be cancers. And UN is talking about third world, about cancer. It's an epidemic in slow motion. So there's a huge burden of cancer in this part of the world for which there are no resources. And they're really, really worried that because in the developed countries, the cancer mortality, I was telling a patient of mine 2 days ago that in the West, the mortality, the death rate from cancers is going down. And in this part of the world, the death rate is going up and the number is also going up. So it's very, very worrying, the lack of resources, a lack of education among the patients, and then the number is actually truly going. I see patients every day, Dr. Saab, I'm the first person in the family who has developed, nobody in my family has cancer. Why is that so? I said there is a true rise of cancer throughout the world and this part of the world also.
Thank you very much for saying that. But very quickly, Dr. Saab, what are the most basic treatments which are available over here in Pakistan?
Well, for sarcomas or in general, there are like 3 modalities. The basic modality for sarcoma is a sarcoma surgeon. We need to have very good sarcoma teams. In the West, they have developed these sarcoma centers who purely deal with sarcomas. So they're surgeons, they are extremely well trained, the imaging, the way things are done, it's a teamwork. Cancer treatment is a teamwork. So we have a surgeon who does a very good surgery. Sometimes the disease is such that it's too big. Surgeon cannot go in and take it out. So then the role of medical oncologist and radiation oncologist comes in. There's a lot of new studies coming out with giving radiation therapy before surgery to downsize it, to shrink it, so a surgeon can easily take it out. And then there are chemotherapies which we give after surgery.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, for being with us. It was wonderful to have you, and do pay my regards to Colonel Salim Siddiqui Saab as well, if you get to see him as well. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, we just want you to be happy and healthy. And this is our initiative in spreading awareness. The entire month is about sarcomas. And if there's anybody who's suffering from sarcoma, if they think that he or she cannot actually afford the disease, please make sure to write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning, and we'll definitely get you in touch with people who can actually help you. And I think that people who are suffering from these illnesses, they really need to be supported, and I think that all the organizations, NGOs need to come together as well. We're heading out towards a short break, but before that, we're going to share the trailer from the movie The Program. Lance Armstrong should only be inspired for the fact that he actually survived cancer and then went for the Tour de France, because all of his 7 titles were taken away when the world got to know that he was actually doping. He was taking this EPO, which is, I think, one of our natural ingredient as well within our own body, but he was injecting it. That's why he won it, because he could consume more oxygen. So please do not take inspiration from that cheating part, but take inspiration from where he actually was diagnosed with cancer, survived it, and then went on to be a champion. Let's go.
जिंदगी ख्वाब में खोने लगी है ना, 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 ओ, ताबीरें ले आऊं मैं, तुम सपने दे दो मुझे, ऐसा क्या है इतने क्यों अच्छे लगते हो मुझे, तुम ही जीवन की आरज़ू, तुम ही जीवन की आरज़ू, ना कहो ना सुनो, खामोशी गुफ्तगू होने लगी है, जिंदगी ख्वाब में खोने लगी है, भीगी सी एक रात ये ले आए क्या साथ, ये धड़कने जो हमें कहने लगी है, ना कहो ना सुनो, खामोशी गुफ्तगू होने लगी है, जिंदगी ख्वाब में खोने लगी है ना, तारा रा रा ना 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 ना,
That was wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. So we have been joined by Mr. Umer Niazi. What a great singer and musician. He's actually going to be Nazir, yes. And it's just because of the fact that you sung so amazingly that I actually forgot what was your last name. But he's done a great job. He was over here in the studios for our Eid show as well, and we thought that he's a great piece of talent. We really need to be out there as well. We need to support our talented musicians, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of them. Is none other than Mr. Umer Nazir. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Bismillah Rahman. Thank you so much, Shahzad Bhai, for the wonderful introduction.
Thank you very much.
And,
you truly
it's
deserve
really
it.
an honor for me to be here and to be a part of this beautiful.
Thank you very much once again. We are definitely short of time, but it was just because of the fact that we were actually talking about a fatal illness, and I wanted my viewers to get like proper knowledge about it. But we tried. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, with so much going on around you, with so many tensions and problems, I think that music is one of the best remedies. And since I started on my career as a video jockey for a music channel, so music is always very close to my heart. And whenever I feel like crying, I would listen to a song like this. And whenever I feel like jumping, I would probably listen to Sonadi Tavitri or something of that sort too as well.
Even Shahzad Bhai, you sing so well. I've seen some of your videos on Instagram.
Thank you very much for saying that about only rap. But today it's about you. So Umer, you want to be a musician. You're a great one. You sing very well as well.
Thank you.
But you haven't really released a song so far. Are you in the process?
Yes, I'm still working on it, and by the end of 2019, inshallah, I'll release it.
What kind of a song are you working on?
It's kind of a funky song.
It's a funky song?
It's a funky song.
Because usually I've seen people singing, you know, whenever they're actually out there who want to be a singer, sorry, what they do is that they actually come up with a romantic song and they romanticize. And so if I'm to ask you, do you romanticize future or past? What do you romanticize?
Past.
Past?
Yeah.
Why past? Well, what was so great about your past?
Because I had so much experience on my past. Because when I was about to start my musical career,
Yeah.
you know, when I haven't taken any musical classes, I'm really very thankful to Almighty Allah that He has given me such vocals and the ability to, you know, to polish that.
Yes.
And secondly, you know, it is possible due to the prayers of my family, that no matter how I sing today, they always stand with me and honor me.
Well,
So-
that's great. But there are a lot of people who actually shouldn't be singing too as well. I mean, this is for a fact too as well. You know, not everybody should be singing, just like me. I cannot sing, so I started rapping. But other than that, who do you follow? And who do you aspire to be one day? You know, for example, we're in Pakistan, we've got so many examples current. We can talk about Ali Zafar, we can talk about Atif Aslam, we can talk about Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. There are so many other amazing musicians. Who do you aspire to be?
Like if I talk about myself, I just want to be a rock star like Ali Zafar, like Atif Aslam, like Shahzad Roy.
Yeah, you want to take selfies with people,
Yeah,
fans
I've
calling
got
out for you.
experience. I've got a lot of things from all the artists in Pakistan
Yep.
and all the singers as well. But I prefer the old songs like Mehdi Hasan Khan Sahab
Yep.
and Nusrat Fateh Khan Sahab's. So I like that kind
All
of
right.
songs
So,
most.
so are you working on an album or are you working on a single?
No, I'm working on a single.
You're working
Yeah,
on a single. And who's going to compose the music? Are you going to do it yourself or are you going to look
No,
for somebody
I'm gonna
else?
do it.
And then you're going to make a music video as well?
Yes, of course.
All right. And you want a very fit and amazing, good-looking model in it too?
No, I don't think so because it's a funky song,
Okay.
and I'm thinking add something really very new trending thing.
Okay.
So
Can you
I
give
don't
us give us something, you know, at least, you know, just let our viewers know, let your followers know what kind of music you would be coming up with.
No, I think I will tell.
All right, so,
I'll
so
tell you.
ladies and gentlemen, the surprise really cannot be out. You know, the snake really needs to sit into the box. It shouldn't be out because it might scare people. And yeah, so what we're going to do is...
I'll tell you personally.
Oh, he's going to tell me personally, and then I'm going to tell you guys personally as well. I think that is important. But, you know, in today's time, we're glad and we're very thankful that finally the music industry and the film industry is actually working together. You know, a lot of musicians are actually singing for films too as well. Do you want to be a playback singer?
Yeah, I always want to be a playback singer.
You want to be a playback
Yes, I
singer?
will. And I'm very glad that our musical industry and our film industry as well is grown up. And you know, there's a lot, like very good platform for the youngsters, for the new singer, for the new artist. You know, we can make our chance
Yeah.
to be a playback singer, to be a rock star.
Exactly, and it's very important. But they say that to be a rock star, you actually have to be heartbroken. Are you heartbroken?
No.
No, he's not. So, okay, you've got a long journey to cover, my boy. But other than that, you know, since we were talking about it, since we were talking about music industry as well, I think that music industry, every individual has played a very pivotal role in making sure that the music industry at par with the rest of the world. But because other than that, there was no hope, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one music channel left in the entire country. I think people need to think about it. Sponsors need to think about it. Because earlier there were events which used to be covered by the music channels as well. There was a list of top 10 and whatnot. But I think that YouTube and Facebook can actually be of advantage for people who want to venture into these fields.
Exactly, exactly. Like if I talk about myself or my friends, like many of the musicians are giving up.
Yep.
Are giving up. I say please don't give up, because you know, just because of this someone is weighing you down, or you think you are not worthy of playing your instrument,
Yep.
or your self-esteem is dragging you down.
Yeah.
I think it will be difficult. It will take some time or practice or dedication,
Yeah.
but you will be where you want to be, and it will be worth it.
And that's
inshallah.
great. And you know, when I look at you, you know, I feel and I think that, you know, there's a great artist sitting over here. And in years to come, people are going to witness that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not actually going to boast about it, but quite a lot of musicians whom you see these days singing, you know, their first ever interview was over here on World this morning too as well. Which and other than that, I think Umer did a great job. But Umer, very quickly, before we wrap up and before we move on towards the last song, we're going to have you over again. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
The only question which I want to ask you is, what I've seen in Pakistan is that once, you know, you make your mark, people know you. You know, what happens is that the band actually decides to be divided or probably not get along together because of the fact that the singer actually gets quite a lot of value, ladies and gentlemen. And it's true because people come to listen to their vocals, and because anybody else can actually play the instrument. It might be correct, it might not be, but how do you want to move on in life? Do you want to take all of those friends with you too as well within your journey of being a great musician?
Like for me, I think that if you are passionate about your passion, about your life, then it doesn't matter at all that you are a guitarist or you are a vocalist, because every artist, and for me an artist should be very down to earth. Okay, no matter what position he or she is holding, he should be very down to earth. He should keep practicing all of their life.
And this is something I've witnessed amongst the legends too as well, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever I've met Rahat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab, whenever I've met Atif Aslam, whenever I've met Ali Zafar, they are the most modest people I've always witnessed in my life. And imagine that I actually get to contact Rahat Fateh Ali Khan Sahab in LA. I was traveling and he actually invited me to one of his concerts. And the very first concert I attended for Rahat Fateh Ali Khan was in LA too as well. So this is the kind of people we need to learn from them. But what are you going to share? Because we're going to wrap up.
I'm going to share this song.
Yeah, go ahead. So very quickly, I'm going to wrap up the show as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you're of help to other needy people. Please make sure to spread awareness. And I think that it's every individual's responsibility to help every other individual or animals or anybody else. Just be humane. Write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning. On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G. On Dailymotion and YouTube, it's World This Morning. The repeat's going to be at 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, look after yourselves. Over to Umer.
Okay. Yeah, you want the must, must.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Whatever you feel like.
मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार सारे सा निसा पानी म पानी करे करे सारे सा निसा पानी म पानी करे करे शाना उचिया तेरियां पीड़ा होवण दूर हनेरियां पीड़ा आसा है बथेरियां पीड़ा सुन रिजाज मेरियां पीड़ा एक विरद है दम दम अली अली एक विरद है दम दम अली अली सखीलाल कलंदर मस्त मस्त सखीलाल कलंदर मस्त मस्त झूलेलाल कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार सारे सा निजा पानी म पानी करे करे सारे सा निजा पानी म पानी करे दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार दम मस्त कलंदर मस्त मस्त दम मस्त कलंदर मार